Anti-Afro Svengalis. You know what, people? Let me tell you off the bat, the title is not clickbait. What you're reading is true. But before I get into that, I want to briefly say that there have been many people out there expressing anger, frustration, impatience, condemnation that the past continues to be revisited. We're going to continue to revisit the past because of exactly what I'm bringing you today. It's relevant. Dumpsey D. Derell's wife has a felony conviction for child abuse slash domestic violence. And this sure does add multiple pieces to the puzzle when it comes to evaluating the intensity by which Dumpsey attacked so many families. And I'm going to revisit that history. I also want to tell you, if anyone is interested in these documents, you can send an email. I won't be disclosing who's requesting these documents. So however you get the documents, either directly or through someone else, I'll say this: you're responsible for any redactions if you so choose. These are legally obtained public documents, so I bear no liability. I'm only deciding to redact parts of the name because it will allow a distraction to be cleared away. I have absolutely no guilt. I have no hesitation when it comes to disclosing this information. We're going to take a trip down memory lane, people, and let you know, in case you weren't around, in case you forgot, in case you choose to ignore, just how serious, just how destructive, just how slanderous Dumpsey D. Derell acted when it came to families, starting with my family. He's paid for lies to be spread about my family, that I have a white dad, that I have a white husband, that I'm a white woman, that I'm Mexican. And he revisited that vicious and vile campaign not so long ago, bringing in totally innocent people. He didn't care. He wanted to make sure he said something negative about my family. I think that is disgusting. I think it's cruel. It's abusive. He did that. He was determined. But you know what? I have to say, I got off scot-free to a large degree because every single thing that he said about my family was untrue to such an extreme degree. But when you think about what he said about other people's families, not that what he said is true, he used them as props when he was telling lies, when he was attacking them. Let's start with Lennon Honor's family. Dumpsey D. Derell, Dempsey Spears, facilitated live streams where they discussed Lennon's wife and put out there that she was a domestic violence victim, accused Lennon and his family of being child abusers and forcing their children to be on YouTube. Don't you find that ironic that he was accusing Lennon and his wife of child abuse? Do you see where this goes, people? To put a video up on his live stream of Lennon Honor's child reading and facilitating discussion about the child having special needs. How in the hell would he know anything about Lennon's kids? He did that shamelessly, knowing all along that his wife was a convicted felon, domestic violence slash child abuse. But he wanted everybody else to be in the same position as him. He told countless lies about Nyla and Taz. He says Taz is a registered sex offender. Taz beat Nyla. And listen to this, people. Sit down for this one. That Nyla was beat by Taz and she needed Dumpsey to help her So we set up an extra room for her to come and stay in Texas. And then she decided to go back to Taz. He got on the internet and told that lie. He wanted to appear to be rescuing someone. This is the extent to which he goes. But let me tell you something. You want to hear the knockout punch? Dumpsey has spent so much time lying about Taz. Taz has spent about 11 months in jail, total time across all arrests. I think the longest stretch was like 2 months in a jail when he had a different life, which was many years ago. But listen to this. Taz is cleared to work with children, special needs children, in many roles. He's a passport carrying registered voter. Dumpsey had his wife, so he says, at his office, violating Texas state law. The nerve of him to sit here and spread lie after lie after lie after lie about Nyla and Taz when his wife can never be cleared to work with children. Taz is cleared to work with children. He's angry about that. So he found every single situation he could find. Married couples, people in long-term relationships. He aimed to denigrate their relationships, devalue their engagements. He trashed Smoke and his wife, who I think have one of the most, although I'm not rocking at all with Smoke's attacks on grown man and his family, and you need to really stop that. But at least when they come to the internet, they're presenting. They're giving you entertainment, and they're respecting each other here in front of everybody. What happens at their house is their business. But Dumpsey went on and on and on, accusing the Smoke and his wife of all these improprieties with children. Wait a minute. He's married to a woman who's convicted of a felony / child abuse / domestic violence. The nerve. He never presented any documents supporting what he asserted, but he came on here as if it was the God's own truth. Who the hell cares what's happening behind closed doors as long as someone's not beating on a child? Because if you're beating on a child, that is not confidential. That is not secret. He talks shit about Grown Man and M3 and their family, trashing them from sunup to sundown as if his family is perfect. Writing these vulgar and disgusting songs about all of the women and all of the girlfriends. And in every single instance, he's accusing the men, I shouldn't say accusing, but in his context, it's accusatory, of being on the down low, of being drug addicts, being broke, just eviscerating verbally every element of the family unit. Family unit, by the way, doesn't mean you have to be married, but he ridiculed while he's showing this wedding ring on his finger as if he has to try to shove it down our throats that he has a wife. He has a wife who was a convicted felon. And I'm not even knocking that she's a convicted felon standalone. I'm only using this for comparison context about how he beat up on so many families knowing he has a wife who is a convicted felon. Remix has admitted to having criminal justice involvement, and I don't think anybody believes he or a grown man ever hurt a child, but Dumpsey D. Derell was up here pushing this crap about Remix, but Remix doesn't have an opportunity to move on with his life. But Dumpsey D. Derell is hiding the fact that his wife is a convicted felon, and Remix doesn't even have a felony conviction. Always attacking people. But he's leaving out his own wife and her felony conviction for child abuse / domestic violence. And let me put this out there. You'll see in the documents that she completed her condition. Dumpsey does not get to come on to YouTube and slaughter everyone's family and think he gets away scot-free. No, the truth needs to be told, and I'm coming on here to tell you the truth. And of course, all of the bald-faced, vicious, disgusting, and vile lies he spread about Rev G and the missus. The constant references to DL, to improprieties with children, of course, never having a shred of evidence, and pulling Lynn and Honor into that they're meeting gay men all over the place and the wives approve of it. He funneled and fueled and financed these lies. And then would even make references to how Rev G's wife would rather be with him. Then he would grind in chairs. People, this is deprivation, transposing his own situation, which was very destructive, undesirable, and he wanted everybody else to have a negative home, a negative household, negative relationships with their children. He said that Rev G's children don't deal with him. He can't get away from his kids. Are you serious? Maybe his kids don't deal with him. Everything that he is saying about other people apply to him. I would think a felony conviction for child abuse / domestic violence is a serious impropriety with children. But he is saying everybody else has that when it applies to his own spouse. Correct. He isn't the one who did it, but he is trying his hardest to make it appear other people did. Just making shit up about people because it takes him further and further away from the truth about his own experiences. To me, it doesn't have any bearing on your quote interaction with Dumpsey here and now. He did what he did. He said what he said. And for him saying these things, he has lost contracts. He has come onto the internet attacking families, attacking children, attacking relationships, devaluing domestic violence as a serious issue, accusing people of being registered sex offenders, trashing people for having criminal justice involvement. But his own wife has that. What does that tell you how he feels about his own wife if he's coming onto YouTube accusing you of doing shit you didn't even do? That's exactly what he did. The most disgusting thing that Dumpsey continues to say in terms of asserted validity is he stopped attacks. I'm the one who stopped the attacks. They wanted to do this and I stopped it. They wanted to post Rev G's wife, but he didn't stop anything. This is what he's trying to tell you. He's fantasizing that he stopped the attack by his wife on their child. He's reliving that and trying to use everybody else. He's trying to reinvent himself as a do-gooder. He is not a do-gooder. He tried to put his family situation on everybody else that he saw who was content, who was loving, and who was respectful, who speaks in very high regard about their spouses, about their girlfriends and boyfriends and long-term relationships. He wanted to make sure he can be seen as the rescuer, as stopping attacks. No, he financed attacks because he wanted it also to be true what he was saying about those he made the lies up about. You know I have much more to bring your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.